Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to 3D print. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Hey guys, welcome back to 3D Print Farm. I know a lot of you guys have probably got a new resin printer here recently, or maybe you're thinking about getting a resin printer. So what we're going to talk about today is all the tools you're going to need to make you the most successful resin printer in the world. So let's get started. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to 3D Print Farm. So today we're going to talk about the tools that you're going to need to make you successful in 3D resin printing. First and foremost, before we talk about anything else, is safety. And what I mean by safety is these. Safety goggles are very important when you're dealing with resin. See, resin's going to come in different sizes, different bottles like this. You're going to see warnings on the side, so this stuff is pretty nasty, so you're going to want to protect yourself, whether that's your eyes or your skin. So anyway, the first thing you'll need, protect your eyes with a set of these. Next thing you're going to need is a box of these, which is your latex gloves or non-latex gloves if you're allergic, so you're going to need a pair of these. So I'm going to go ahead and don these gloves because we're going to be dealing with a little bit of resin. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is something to clean your prints with. What I have found that works best for me is this thing. This is a pickle container, or it's a pickle strainer. And what I use is this 91% isopropyl alcohol that you can pick up at Walgreens or Walmart, any of your drugstores. I fill the pickle container with the alcohol, and you can see it's got a nice seal so it doesn't leak. Awesome thing about this is with this particular strainer, you can dip your prints and clean them off. Also, what you're going to need is an old toothbrush. I usually go to the Dollar Tree. You can actually pick these up at Walmart, but you'll need an old toothbrush. What that does is that helps get into the nooks and crannies of the prints, and it helps you wash off all the excess resin. I like to have some of these. These are alcohol wipes, or I guess they're called lens cleaning wipes that I use to clean my eyeglasses with. These are actually really good to clean the bottom of your LCD screen underneath the vat. I use these to help clean that, and they don't scratch, so these are awesome. Also like to use some of these, which is a lint-free microfiber cloth. You can pick some of these up at the Dollar Tree, or you can pick them up at Walmart. These are awesome. Also need some of these paper towels, and paper towels I usually use to clean up if you have a spill. These are good. Do not use this. Do not use these on the FEP, and that's the plastic film that's in the bottom of your vat, because paper towels tend to be a little coarse and they'll get a little scratchy, and you'll end up scratching the FEP. You don't want to do that. Next thing there goes my paper towels. The next thing I like to use is spray away glass cleaner, and I've used this before and I've talked about this on my previous videos, but I love this stuff. This stuff has perfume grade alcohol, and it has something in it that dissolves resin, and I don't know what it is, but it's awesome. And I have used this to clean my build plate. I'm going to show you how I do that here shortly. And this stuff is just fantastic. I've also used this on my FEP, but here recently I'm using this other tool, and I think you guys are going to like, and we're going to talk about that here in a few minutes. Next thing, what I like to do is you got to get your resin back in the bottle after you get through. So resin, you got your vat, and how do you get that back in there? Well, it's a pain, okay? So in order to get that back in there, you're going to need some of these, which is our paint strainers. You can pick these up on Amazon, you can pick them up at Lowe's. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna leave links to all the stuff we talk about in the description below. I've also printed on one of my 3D printers one of these, and it's basically just a funnel that I put inside my resin, and I place the filter like so, and that way I can take my vat and pour my resin back through here and then take this and throw it in the trash, because you do not want to pour your resin from your vat directly back into the bottle, because you may have little bits of cured resin that gets down in this and it contaminates the bottle, and you're just asking for trouble with any type of future print. So always use these filters. Let's see, the next thing you'll want is a metal scraper. I've used plastic scrapers in the past, but I feel that the metal scrapers do the best on prying up your prints from the bottom of the build plate. Here's the build plate here, and I find that just putting the edge down and just kind of going really nice and easy will pop your print right off. Got a rooster outside. And what I'll do is I usually try to have this next to it so I can just slide it right off into the alcohol bath. So, put that back up here. Some other tools that I use to clean up my prints with, because you're gonna have supports on your prints, are a set of these. And these are little side nippers. I'll put a link again to the description for some of these. These are awesome. You will use these, I promise. Next thing is a scalpel. Scalpels you can pick up from your Tractor Supply, veterinary supply. I'm sure you can buy these on Amazon. If so, I'll put them a link I'll put a link in the description below for scalpels. But this gets kind of rid of some of the smaller or more hard to reach supports you can't get with these guys. Let's see, what's the next thing on the agenda? Oh, I got a surprise for you guys that I think is, oh, here we go. Next thing is sandpaper. I mean, I've got some of this, I picked this sandpaper up at Hobby Lobby. They're different grits, and I think this was over with the models. So there's different size grits in here that you can use to sand off your prints with. Also, I have, and I don't have it here with me, is an actual emery board that you use to file your nails with. You can pick up some of those at Walmart. You can get those in a multi-pack for $1. Those work fantastic, especially when you're trying to sand off any of the bases and things like that. Last thing I want to mention, something that I just purchased, and we're going to test this on the vat today, are these guys. This is from a company called Rocket Bus. I know they make, there's other companies that make stuff that's similar to this, but what it is used for applying vinyl to automobiles, cars. Check this out. This is just basically just like a little rubber spatula. And I thought to myself, you know, this would be great to get all of the resin out of the vat, because you can just run this along and it should just take it right out. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one of these right now just to see how it works. You're the first one that's gonna see this. This is the first time I've ever used this, and we'll see if it's worth doing. So awesome. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I went over all the tools, the basic tools you're gonna need. Oh, at the beginning of the video, I wore this. I typically wear this when I'm doing any spray painting or I'm dealing with any volatile chemicals. If you feel like you need to wear one of these when you're dealing with your resin, by all means use one of these. Make sure that this one is rated for varnishes and organic vapors, that this particular one is. I've put a link to the description on this particular model down below. But if you feel like you need to use a respirator when dealing with your resins, by all means, you need to do it, because your health is the most important thing. I'm going to change the camera angle on this, and we're going to try out our little scraper and see how that goes. In fact, what we're going to do is do a little quick tutorial on how to clean the vat. Okay, let's get started. Okay, the next step I'm going to perform is I'm going to empty my vat. So you can see I have my can of resin, I have my funnel, and I have one of my paint strainers. So I'm going to go over here, going to remove my vat. There's my vat. Set it down there. Take off the lid. Place the funnel in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain my excess resin from my vat back into my can. As you'll notice on the vat, there is a small area right here that's perfect for pouring. So you'll want to be extremely careful. And I'm going to just hold on to this. You can see I'm wearing my gloves. I'm just going to start pouring this. And I want to go a little slow because if there's any in there, it's going to come out. So now it's going out. See, I may have poured a little bit too fast. And what happens is that it's going to bubble out. That's why you wear the gloves. I'm just going to continue to pour that in there. Like so. As you can see, there's kind of a film on the bottom. That's the excess resin. And what we're going to do is we're going to use that tool we talked about a little bit earlier, which was this guy, which is kind of a little, I would almost call it like a squeegee. So what I'm going to do is I am just going to put the vat over here, and I'm going to take this squeegee and I'm just going to run it down the side. It's actually working really good. So basically I'm just squeegeeing out all the excess resin into the vat, or actually squeezing all the excess resin out of the vat into my funnel. That's actually working really good. I really like this. Let me give you a demonstration. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to clean this off here. Wipe this off. Look how nice and clean that is. And all I did was take this squeegee, and you can see it's got a square edge and it fits perfect along the edge. So I can just push the excess resin and it's not scratching the FEP at all. So I'm going to take it and pour just a little bit that's out back into the vat, and I'm going to wipe this off. I'll have my little pickle container here, and when I'm finished with this, I'll just plop it in there for cleaning later. Now you can take a paper towel and clean the inside edges as long as you don't touch the plastic film. So what I'm going to do is just clean the inside edges with a paper towel to make sure I don't touch the actual FEP itself. And the FEP actually looks nice and clean from here. And then at this point, I'm going to take one of the alcohol wipes that I had earlier. And it's non-scratch because these are the kind that you use on your eyeglasses. And I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to go inside the edges of my FEP, clean it out, flip this over, and make sure that all of the resin has pretty much been cleaned out. And then at this point, I can take my microfiber cloth and kind of give it a nice wipe, like so. And then now, my FEP is nice and clean. Squeaky clean. So you can see in the bottom of this there's still some gunk down there that did not filter out into the can. I'm glad that's there, because otherwise that would have went right into the can, and that's going to cause you issues later on. So we want to filter all of that gunk out. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my paper towel, I'm going to wrap this up and properly dispose of it in a trash can. The nice thing about my funnel is I'm going to take it and I'm just going to plop it into the alcohol for cleaning. Take my cap and I'm ready to use it again. And since I've also gotten some resin on my fingers, I'm actually going to remove my gloves. And I'm going to put on a new pair. Because what happens a lot of times is if you get resin on your gloves, you end up contaminating other items that you touch. So that's not good. What I'm going to do, my gloves back on. And now I'm going to clean this. You can see I've already cleaned this, but I want to show you how I clean this. Is take a paper towel, take some of the sprayway glass cleaner, shake it up, spray it on. It has almost kind of a foaming action. Take the paper towel, clean it. Clean the top. What I like about this is, you hear that? It's squeaky clean. I have not had any issues with prints not sticking using this sprayway glass cleaner, because it gets all the resin off. So I'm really impressed with how this works. I'm going to place this back into the Anycubic Photon. What you'll also want to do with your vat that I didn't mention is you'll want to check the bottom. Make sure there's no excess resin that's on the bottom, because when you place it back into the photon, you may contaminate the LCD screen. So you want to make sure this is nice and clean. Again, you don't want to use a paper towel because you might scratch it. So I'm going to take a microfiber cloth, make sure that it's nice and clean. My Anycubic Photon LCD looks good. I'm going to slide the vat back in. One of the things I wanted to mention, when you slide this vat back in, you want to make sure that it goes all the way back on both sides. And you don't want to tighten these bolts down one at a time and tighten them. You want to tighten one slightly, and then you want to tighten the other one slightly. And then go back to the first, tighten a little bit more, go back, go back, go back, until you have even tightness all the way across the bottom of the vat. That way it's nice and locked in and it's not cockeyed. So next time what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the different ways you can level the build plate. Today I just wanted to go over the basic tools that I use on the Anycubic Photon. And to go over those one more time, I use these nippers. These nippers are for removing supports. Several different brands. Use a toothbrush. I highly recommend the Rocket Bus Squeegees, but you can purchase these. I think these were like $6, and you get like 8 of them. But they're little, they call them installation squeegees. And it's kind of a rubberized material. These are awesome. I cannot highly recommend these enough, because these will not scratch your FEP. And you can just move them along the FEP and wipe out all the resin. These are super awesome. Your metal scraper for removing your prints from your build plate. And last but not least, oh, almost forgot, pickle container with alcohol for washing your prints. And also last but not least, I'm going to take these off. Safety goggles, I was wearing them. Rubber gloves. And a respirator if you need it. You notice I didn't talk about the the ultraviolet curing the prints, we'll do that in a separate video. Again, I just wanted to go over some of the tools that I use in preparing prints and working with resin printers. Hope you guys had a good day, and hope to see you again soon on 3D Print Farm. Bye now. Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D Print Farm. I know a lot of you are probably either planning on purchasing or have purchased an Anycubic Photon. Doggone it, my battery's running out. Yeah, I hate you, battery. That's why you gotta get a backup. Gotta have a backup. Backup battery. My battery light's flashing. Not cool. I'm all ready to go. It's not working. It's not working.